pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be able to introduce you to the guest, that being my dear, one more time, dear friend, Danny Darrow.
Yes,
and
but
Danny, welcome so much to Conversation.
Well, it's so wonderful. Harold, it's so wonderful being here with you, but I want to tell you one thing.
Yes.
I'm not a deer. I was never a deer. I don't have 4 legs. I have only 2 arms and 2 legs, and I walk on 2s. I don't walk on 4s. But the golf course I used to play on, there was many deer all over the whole fairway, all over everything. But anyways,
but
Harold.
that's D-E-E-R. I said D-E-A-R.
No, the deer is D-E-E-E-R, and you're a D-E-A-R, and you're telling me I'm a D-E-A-R.
He's our guest,
Harold, thank you, Harold.
and gentlemen. He's our ladies and gentlemen. I like the deers. I like the pussycats. I like it all, you know.
So do I.
And you worked on a golf course. You're a golfer.
Yeah, I'm
You are a golfer. He's also a comedian, an actor, a singer, an entertainer, and a man about town, a bon vivant.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Bon vivant, I don't understand what that is. Man of our town
is a gentleman.
Yeah,
a gentleman.
Yes, okay.
Of a high order.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
You know, but a bon vivant, a thing like
and
this.
well dressed.
Yeah, well, you know,
fashionable.
in some of my floor shows, in some of my shows, I have all kinds of metal leaves where I used to wear a top hat and a cane.
Yeah, right.
And I used to dance when I was a dancer.
You've done some things here on that. You look good with that mustache.
I mean, that was years ago. Now I'm lucky I'm walking, Harold.
Well, I know what you mean. Yeah. We've both been through that heart surgery thing.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
pretty traumatic.
I had the heart taken out of my body.
That'll focus the mind and the heart.
Yeah. Well, you had yours done.
I had it done, yeah. I had it done by the same guy who did it at Presbyterian for the famous Larry King, who's on television all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
my.
he did. The same surgeon did him as me.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have time. You know, I was so lucky because
between gigs, huh?
Well, no, I had a massive heart attack right in the lobby of my building.
Wow.
And everybody they took me upstairs. They gave me shots of morphine and everything. And they said, we're losing him. He's going fast.
Yeah.
My pulse dropped to 2 or 3, and the paramedics came. I was lucky; it was the only truck in the city that had the electronic stuff and everything in there at the time. And they said, "We're losing him. We're going fast. His pulse is down to 3. Think about having sex. Think about this. Think about that. You know." And I used to have these out-of-body experiences.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
So I tried to do it, but I lost the click. I had it when I was 8 years old, 9 years old. I used to float around rooms and everything.
Right.
I don't have it anymore. I lost it. But that was 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning in the hospital, cardiac. I was alive. Was so lucky.
Yeah. Did they give you streptokinase? Did you have a clot?
No. I was closed up on both sides. I had high cholesterol.
Yeah. Right.
And I was warned. My cholesterol count was 365.
Well,
it was real high. I was warned I was going to get a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
And I was taking niacin. I was taking all kinds of stuff to lower it, but it didn't work fast enough.
Yeah.
And then I had to find a doctor real quick to fix me. So what I used to do is I called up all the hospitals. I asked for the head of cardiology, and I said, listen, I want to ask you a few questions. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you whore around with women at night? And they said, wait a minute. We should be asking you that question. And I said, no, because if I'm on your table and you cut me up, I'm a dead man if you're stoned. I said, so I got to ask you. One guy said, oh, I only come in every 2 days out of every month. I got 5,000 acres in Texas, and I've got 1,000 cattle and everything else.
I was a surgeon.
Surgeon. I said, gee, that's wonderful. You sound like a very successful man. Unfortunately, not for me. So then I found a guy that said, I've got 14 grandchildren. I've got five children. I'm married 40 years. I'm happily married. I says, where are you? I want you. You're wonderful.
Right.
So his name was Dr. George Green. He was at St. Luke's Roosevelt. I called him on a Tuesday. I said, "Listen, I'm going to die in 2 weeks." I was told I was going to die. They
told you that?
Yeah. They told me I didn't have much time. I couldn't even walk. I was going.
That was after the attack?
That was after the attack, after my heart attack.
And what did they do to get you over that attack?
Nothing. I had to get a surgeon. Everybody was.
No, but you were out. Did you go out of consciousness?
Oh, when I passed out after it happened, but then I woke up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in the hospital. I was alive.
After the heart attack?
After the heart attack.
Oh, you've been taken to the hospital.
The paramedics came and everything. So the thing is, I called the man. I called this doctor at a Tuesday around 3 o'clock. He says, come in at 5 o'clock and we'll talk. I came in at 5 o'clock. I was there. He checked me over. He says, you only have a week or two to live.
Good.
He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Welcome to consciousness.
Yeah, welcome to consciousness.
Enjoy
Wait,
it, son.
but that was
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's booked up 2 months in advance. He says, you come in Saturday morning at 3:30 in the morning, and I'll operate on you.
I'll be damned.
2 days.
The
guy saved my life, and it was just, you know, and, you know, here I am. Harold.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, I'm here with you, my darling, the two of us. The two veterans.
Yeah, well, my daddy died when he was only 48.
Really?
Okay, he was born in 1899. That was the average age for a male in the United States that was born in the year 1899.
Yeah.
Was 48 years old.
Oh, my.
And they didn't have anything that they could do. He had a heart attack.
Yeah, yeah.
And they came out, and all they had, you know, the emergency came. I was there. I discovered him. He was in the bed, purple. Yeah. It was horrible.
Oh, my.
Anyway, but he had a blood clot.
Yeah, yeah,
which is common. That was a common thing. And they have now a thing called, to break up a blood clot.
Yeah.
They have a thing, it's called streptokinase.
Yeah, and what is that?
They didn't have it. It was a medicine they didn't have.
Yeah.
They didn't have penicillin to fight syphilis or anything then.
Yeah,
I'm trying, it was like a dark age.
Yeah.
And if they had had that, they could have put it in his arm. It would have blown that apart.
Yeah.
Like
Save his life.
Drano.
Yeah.
You know, it would save it.
Yeah,
But it advances. So we were buying 30, 40 years of life that we wouldn't have had if we'd been born at the turn of the century.
Sure.
There's some progress taking place.
Tell me about, my father died, he was 57 years old. Okay. Young man, and he had uremic poisoning.
Wow, where'd that come
uremic
from?
poisoning came from the diabetes and everything else. He lost his eyesight, he went blind, and there was only one machine in New York. He used to fly in from Chicago. I come from Chicago, and I used to take care of him, and then he used to fly back, and there was one dialysis machine in the city.
Yeah.
And they would not give it to him because he was too old. They were saving it for the young people in their 20s and 30s. And I says, look, I'll give you any amount of money you want. Just put him on the dialysis and save his life. And they refused.
Wow. What did you do in the face of that?
And he
what
died.
Happened? What happened?
He died. He died in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, died in the hospital.
What a you're sure? You've got all that straight.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. And the hospital was on, I think, 14th Street on the corner there. It was... I can't think of the name of the hospital. St. Vincent's.
St. Vincent's. They closed now.
Yeah. They tore it down.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give it to him. He was too old at 57 years old. Harold. 57 years old. God, I'm almost 100.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. It's advancing among a lot of other things. So there are some things to be said for progress being made.
Sure.
In certain ways. There's still a couple problems left.
Yeah.
As we can get into and so forth. But you've been into that kind of a thing. And you've been in showbiz. When did you get into show business?
I've been in show business on and off in show business since the 50s, the 1950s.
50s. That's way back.
Yeah. And I was brought up. My family was Jewish.
Yeah.
And my family was very Orthodox.
Orthodox.
And I was
brought
brought
up.
Real?
Was it real? You went to shul and everything?
I went to shul. I was brought up to become a rabbi.
Wow.
And my
Al Jolson, writ large.
My grandfather, my father, and myself, we were all cantors.
No. You were a cantor.
I was a cantor.
You have a beautiful singing voice.
Oh, so,
I heard you singing down here one day. You were sweeter than Mel Torme.
Oh, my God. I knew
sweet.
Mel Torme.
Yeah.
Mel Torme was a darling man.
You were singing in the open studio, and you were as sweet as Mel Torme.
Well, we're going to hear
like
something.
Velvet.
Listen, I have a peace song that Melanie is going to put on shortly. And then people are going to hear the peace song to try to clear up all this disaster and all this killing and murders all over the entire world.
You think we can do it with a song in our heart? We can clear up the peace and everything, get to the peace
Harold,
and everything. We can do it.
Darling,
humor is one thing that's going to help.
I know,
don't you think?
absolutely.
Across the board.
Absolutely.
Humor. You're also a great humorist, a comedian.
Well, thank you,
You're
darling.
a great human being.
But great human being. Well, I know
George
that,
M. Cohen, you know.
Harold, I know that I'm human, but being something else, that's another issue.
Well, listen, you brought it up, so we're just introducing you and everything. So Melanie's our dear one. Maybe we should. Do you want to run that piece now?
Well, I don't know if Melanie is ready, but I want to tell you exactly what happened.
Okay,
because when I was born, I remember floating, trying to pick out the baby to jump into, because I used to have a lot of out-of-body experiences.
Of course you did.
So listen.
Of course you were floating up in
this
the
is
air.
the truth. You can believe it or not.
Of course.
Okay. So no, I
course.
picked the wrong kid. I picked the wrong family. I picked everything completely wrong.
And you had picked it all.
I picked it. It was my mistake.
Yes.
My mistake.
Yes.
All right. But instead of going,
we encourage you here at the Happy Rest Home.
Well, thank you,
We
Harold.
try to encourage all kinds of creative out-of-body.
Okay, but wait a minute. But instead of going to the synagogue every day, and I went to the Hebrew
You used to go to
Theological
the pool
College.
hall.
I went to the Hebrew Theological College. Wait a minute.
You did?
Yeah.
As a young man.
As a young man, yeah. But I quit everything because in Chicago in the 50s we still had the strip joints, we still had the Rialto, we had vaudeville, we had burlesque and everything. So rather than going to the synagogue, I wanted to go to the strip joints, and I wanted to work in the strip joints.
It sounds like the jazz singer.
Yeah, so wait a minute.
Jolson,
My father wouldn't talk to me for a whole year. My grandfather wouldn't talk to me for a whole year.
Because you quit the synagogue?
I quit.
You quit not the synagogue.
But
you
wait a
quit
minute.
But
I had peace and quiet in the house for a whole year.
Because they weren't
They wouldn't talk to me.
Blessed thing.
Blessed. It was wonderful, Harold.
You learned your lesson well, did you not?
I think
you
they learned their lesson well.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
But you got peace and quiet for an hour.
I didn't want to be subjected to that kind of a life. You know? Harold, take some water, Harold.
No,
Harold.
that's all right.
Yeah, listen, I said to myself, I'm not a follower. I don't want to follow anybody. I want to go out on my own. Even though I was a kid, I was working when I was 8 years. I was selling rugs for $3, making 35 cents an hour.
Really?
Of course.
Selling rugs?
Yeah, selling rugs on Halsted Street and Maxwell. These little Persian rugs that are probably very valuable now. Selling it for $3. I used to bring them to people and say, Mister, you want to buy a rug? And they say no.
Where'd you get the rugs? Out of
they weren't mine. They were in the store.
They were where?
The rugs were in the store. I was only a hired worker for 35 cents an hour.
So selling the rugs for the store.
Yeah, the people said.
What was your cut?
My cut was 35 cents an hour. I was making 35 cents. And
I think you were being exploited.
Well,
child labor.
In those days, it was a lot of money.
Okay, you're right.
Money,
Tootsie
right?
Roll was only a penny,
and the people used to say, "No, I don't want to buy a rug." And I used to say, "Mister, listen, I'm only a kid. I'm making 35 cents an hour. I need this money. You got to come in and you got to buy a rug. You must buy a rug for $3. You must. That's right. That's right." Harold, don't you think I would bring them in the store and they would buy a rug for $3?
Yeah, I bet you did. You could do it. Yeah. You did. You were doing shtick on the corner at 3.
Everything, whatever I could do from
God
8 years
bless
old.
You. That's great because you've been always out there hustling. And
yeah, I've been always out there hustling.
That's good for you. That's really good for you. And you are. And you were in that movie Too Big to Fail.
You
had lines.
I played Acres. I played Acres with James Woods.
Yeah.
Very lovely man.
Yeah.
Very, very lovely.
That's a major film. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
You know they have films that are going to live. You got Casablanca and they live there.
I know.
That film Too Big to Fail is going to live forever and the level of understanding what's going on in the world because it went into the whole condition that happened in 2008 in a way that's going to live and it's going to be a tool of learning by a lot of people. You were part of a major production.
Yeah, I was.
You probably didn't appreciate it
Harold,
at the time.
I was lucky to get the job.
Well,
Harold.
I know, but I'm glad you did. How did you get the job?
How did I get? I auditioned for the job. Auditioned, and Alexa Fogel, the casting person over here, said, "Danny, you're wonderful. You're perfect for it." And I got the contract.
Well, that's all right. Just like you've done on other occasions. You've auditioned for a lot of things. Is auditioning a large part of being in show business?
Well, I'll tell you, they sometimes they call me from California.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's no audition. Sometimes there's just an interview, and they want to see exactly what you're made of.
Yeah.
They want to see, what your aura is, how you relate to people, and everything else. And then you either get the job or you don't get the job, depending upon.
What percentage of the times when you go after a thing do you get a contract?
Harold, there's so many people in this business.
I know.
That if I'm lucky to get a job once every 3 years, I'm
out
lucky.
Of all the auditions. How many auditions did you do?
Now, most of the major parts are cast in California. Everything is cast in California.
Is that true still, right?
Yeah, the small parts, like the 3-line, 4-line, 5 lines,
you had 5
are
lines.
cast in New York.
Yeah.
And you got to be based in New York if they're filming in New York.
Yeah, right.
Because they're not going to pay for transportation and they're not going to hire an actor from California, pay for the rooms, for the transportation, and everything.
Yeah.
So you know, a lot of times, if you're a New York actor, if you're an actor in Texas and they're shooting in Texas, if any other location, you got to be based where they're shooting, because the production company is not going to spend the money to put up, you know, you in a
So it's ultimately all considered by the money and everything like that. And I suppose the same sort of thing applies for somebody to be an accountant in a company somewhere in Des Moines or something. You know, everything is considered by the money and everything.
Oh, sure,
like
everything. This is strictly a money business.
And then you also have in most businesses like show business. They call it show business. We're in show business here a little bit.
Wait a minute, this is show business?
Show business.
Wait a minute,
like
this is show business? Wait, I'm
like
leaving, Harold. I'm leaving.
Everything about it is appealing. Anyway, but that's a business.
Yeah.
And we've got a mutual friend that I've just got in touch with.
Who's
This Joe Franklin.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe Franklin is a grand gentleman.
Okay, Joe told me that he was going to be on your show.
Yeah, in August.
In August.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I was with Joe when I used to produce the United Cerebral Palsy telethons.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I was the host, the producer, director. I used to put up the tote boards, bring on the stars, and I'd stand there and I'd pitch and I'd raise millions of dollars. It was all local.
Yeah.
I think, who was it? I can't, who was the major guy? I know because I also had the contract for the U.S. I think he came afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was in the 50s.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And
okay.
and I toured all over.
Oh, he was in the
locally.
50s,
Boston and Virginia and all over. They they sent
for
me
this,
all over.
Right?
But the thing is,
you were like a spokesperson.
I was a spokesperson and the director
on camera.
On camera, of course.
Okay. Well,
and the thing is,
did you have an agent to work that out? Or did you have to have an agent?
Okay, I had a wonderful man that set up all my bookings for me. His name was Sid Asher.
Okay.
And Sidney was a darling. He was a publicist. Sidney was an Army colonel.
Yeah.
In intelligence.
Yeah.
And he was a wonderful man. And on the show, on my show that I'm running now,
here at MNN,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, at MNN, Danny Darrow himself is here. One more reason why you should all tune into Manhattan Network. One major reason.
But I'm here with Harold Shanner too.
Well,
Harold
there's that little bit. That's a little bit off on the side. But you got Darrow, the Danny Darrow.
But I always I have at the end now in memory of Sid Asher, because Sidney died. He was a wonderful man. Sidney wrote a book. And he mentioned me. He mentioned Vic Damone. He mentioned Tony Bennett. He mentioned all the old time singers that lost their way when the music industry changed.
From what to what?
It changed to African American. It changed to bebop. It changed to it changed.
You mean from what? From what? From Bing Crosby?
Well, no, it changed from the big. Like I used to record for a lot of major labels here.
Yeah.
And I used to write everything. I used to write the music, the words, and everything else.
Really?
And and I used to record with the Hungarian Symphony Orchestras, 100 strings, 100 voices, with the big strings.
That ain't exactly popular music.
No, that's all gone. That went out.
But you had George M. Cohen. You had a lot of popular music going on. Honky Tonks and all that.
That's when we were younger.
Well, I was still not even here. I can't believe there was anything before I arrived.
You were here, darling, and you're still here, and you're still wonderful. All right.
Yeah.
But the music industry changed. I know. I had a contract with MGM Records, and the thing is, the recording was "Fools Rush In" with the big strings, the big orchestra.
For Angels Fear to Tread.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be released sometime in April. In April I think it was 1959. Okay, Brooke Benton came out. He had a very fast version on Mercury Records. Brooke Benton came out, and he had a hit record. And MGM closed. The MGM Records closed. That division never released a record. I got the masters back, and I have it on. I've got the 6 CDs on Amazon, and all the collectors. Everybody thought I died, Harold, because I left the business for a while, and 15 guys claimed to be Danny Darrow.
Really?
Yeah, because they
Nobody's claimed to be Harold Channer yet.
Well, wait a minute. I'll try to promote you, Harold.
Okay,
I really will.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I feel so much more. I feel totally confident now.
Absolutely. There'll be 50 Harold Channers running around the city saying, "I'm Harold Channer. I'm Harold Channer."
Yeah.
But everybody claimed to be me, and the collectors on Google. There's 8 pages on Google from 4 to 8. They're collecting all my old vinyls, and they're selling them. The 45s from the 1950s, $10. The vinyls, the 12-inch vinyls, over $500.
So how much do you get back?
I get nothing.
What do you mean? What kind of a world is this where you get no rights? You didn't. What happened to that agent who was looking out for your interests? What about the music protecting agents?
There is no protecting agents. BMI, ASCAP. There's no more protecting. I'm telling you. But if they listen to my stuff on iTunes, and they don't have to pay for it, every time they play one of my 40 selections on iTunes, I get 5 cents.
Really, 5 cents?
5 cents.
That's pretty good. That's does the cash roll in?
Sometimes. Sometimes, yeah. I get sometimes $1.50, $2, $3.
Oh.
You know, Harold. Listen,
yeah,
I mean,
that's not bad. That's not bad. That's bad. Listen, like in any other business, you got like back to the Too Big to Fail, right?
Yeah.
And that was all about having to make sure Mr. Geithner and Paulson and all that stuff, and the thing, and they had to make sure that the big guys, you know, the 7 big banks and everything, they had to get that. Remember that thing? Paulson had to come in and kneel down to Pelosi and beg her to sign this 3-page thing on September 20th, 2008. They had to sign that 3-page thing, the Congress. The Republicans wouldn't hear of it. McCain. They had to beg, you have to do this, and it has to be signed this week and signed by the president by the end of this week, or the whole world is going to fall apart.
Yeah. And they lost so much money themselves.
And
they were tremendous stockholders.
But the thing I wanted to bring up is that they were protecting the system. And you got a system where you got just a few people at the top. Do you see how the income distribution is so skewed now? It's all at the top. All the capital is owned by just a tiny handful of people and everything like that. And it's the same in the business. I watched a thing of Joe. I love the man.
Okay.
And he did a program with Bing Crosby. I mean, he was bigger than anything.
Oh, he did a program with everyone.
He did a program, but I watched it and I think it was so beautiful and everything. But you have in show business, you have the stars.
That's right.
Okay, then there's a whole bunch of people. That's like you got Jamie Dimon, the head of it. You know, they know the leaders. Or you got the president. You got the leaders. But then there's a whole bunch of people in show business. But it's saying this, you got the stars.
Yeah.
Now they're in a different league than all the people who are extras.
Oh, sure,
in terms of show business.
Absolutely.
How bad is that? Isn't there room for more real talent, and particularly maybe real creative musical ability and all that kind of thing than the system allows, because they're all locked up behind stars?
There's so many.
Or what do you make of that?
There's so much wonderful talent out there. Wonderful talent that is undiscovered. And that's why they have these singing shows,
American
and they have
Idol.
the talent shows, and so on and so forth. I did over 300 shows with Joe Franklin.
Oh, it's really?
Over 300 shows.
Would those have been?
I was his host when he was first on WR. We were on Broadway and 42nd Street in a white building, and everything was shot on 42nd Street. Then we moved out to Secaucus, New Jersey.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's where the studio was.
Yeah. And I over 3.
And you had people coming in. There were audience. There was an audience in that.
Well, there was a lot of shows then. Thank God we had more sophisticated cameras and a big studio and everything else.
Yeah. That's always the case.
Those were. Harold,
No, but what I'm getting at is the stars, the star system. Do you think the star system works? It certainly is used by the PR people to get a star, and they sell things by the stars. And now you got so many people. How many people are we going to be able to have in the realm of entertainment? Everybody wants to be a star.
Everybody wants to be a star.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the person, how can you trust them? You don't really trust them. So if you know the star and you like the star and you trust them, the star can make me talk you into anything.
Yeah.
See?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So that
right.
would probably be the rationale, you know, of oh, I like him, he's wonderful. I'm going to do what he
Bing
tells
Crosby
me.
was like that for a whole lot of people.
Yeah,
He was
sure,
just, you know,
sure.
and he had a personal life and all that. He and Bob
That's
Hope
right.
and all that. Everybody followed it like part of the family.
But that's why they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
But in those days, the star system, in the 40s or something, was only $500. They were under contract.
Okay.
These guys only got $500.
The studio system.
The studio
yeah.
system.
Yeah, right.
And then if they loaned you out, they say, all right, I'm paying you $500. I'm going to rent you out to the other studio. I want $2,000 a week.
Yeah,
for you.
right. Yeah, right. No, but the point being is that you know, you got is here we're in public access. Okay?
That's right.
Let's sing
That's
the
right.
And we got a little clip we want to share and close of you that you did about public access. And public access is all supported by payments from the cable industry.
Yeah.
So all the capital costs and operating costs here
Yeah.
are met by these payments from the industry.
That's right.
So you can come here and make programming and not have any thought.
That's right.
If you want to.
If you want
If
to.
you want to.
That's right.
Without any thought about making or being involved with money.
Yeah, okay.
Now
and
that's thought of as absolutely subversive to the American or the whole way in which the earth operates in
Yeah.
many people's
Well,
minds.
this is
But it
wonderful.
should be celebrated
Yeah.
that there's a place where people can come and put out good stuff, good equipment, and not have to think about making a nut. Do
Only-
you understand?
yeah,
Or do you
yes.
think the challenge of getting out there and trying to beg somebody to give you a grant or something like that serves well the creative
Well, first of
talent?
all, if
we
you-
could tap the creative talent better than we do that exists in America and the world,
yeah,
couldn't we?
Yeah, but I mean, how much good talent is out there?
A lot, don't you
Heroin-
think? You just
Yeah,
told me
yes,
there's
a lot out there.
I
And-
find a lot.
Okay, if they come to M&N,
I find everybody
that's right.
interesting.
If they come to M&N, they could train them. They can learn to be like us. They could learn to be producers, directors, writers. They could learn to be everything over here, and it's all for free.
Yeah, I know.
And I have a public access
I know,
thing.
but we can't do that because what we're going to do, we're going to get to that, okay?
Yeah, okay.
What we're doing. So what we want to know is get synced up with Melanie because she's doing the work in the booth now.
Yeah.
And we have a DVD, right? With
yeah.
a 3-minute clip or something.
Well, you want to ask?
Can you introduce it and then she could set it up and we'll
Oh,
run
you want
that.
the 3-minute one?
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
the one that's set up,
Okay,
ready to go.
Okay, the world situation, Melody, the world situation right now is in a lot of chaos. In Israel, we got problems with everyone all over, absolutely
Ukraine,
everyone.
yeah.
So I wrote and I produced a peace song. And if Melanie can put it on now, everybody can see it. I hope it goes all over. I hope it floats throughout the entire aura, and then maybe things will change. It's like a prayer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's like the Beatles said, give peace a chance.
Yeah, things will change. Maybe things will say, why am I killing my neighbor? Why am I killing this one? Why are they killing me?
Yeah, well, answer that question is another thing. You know, but that thing.
Yeah.
So, Melanie, if you can we've been rattling on, but if you can do it, just start running that DVD.
Yeah, it's called Let There Be Peace.
Let There Be Peace is the name of it. The person we're talking about is Danny Darrow, one of our fellow members over here at M&N, one of the stars at
Well,
M&N.
no, Harold,
Yeah,
you're one of the stars, Harold.
No. So, or if you have a problem, let us know. Maybe you can't, maybe it doesn't want, there we go. Okay, run it.
And let's hear it.
Pump it in here. Can you pump it in here, the sound, Melanie? Oh, thanks.
Watching from above. Oh, Lord, give us strength and the will to go on and on and on and on. Oh, let there be peace, 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 and a world full of love. Don't you know there is life and death all around, and there is blood, yes, blood all over the ground, and there's a place for all the people in this world. So let there be peace, let me tell you now, among all the peoples on this earth, there is a good and bad in what a life is worth. Oh Lord, you must give the power of love to all men so there can be peace. Let there be peace, peace, peace. Let there be peace, peace, peace. Oh, let there be peace, please, Lord. Oh, let there be peace.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. That's really good. That's really good song.
Thank you,
You wrote
Harold.
that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it, and sure, wrote the music, wrote
Yeah.
the words. Sure, yeah, I did everything, so we could maybe have some peace, you know, in the
You
entire
think there's a
world.
hope for that?
I
You
hope
think
so.
there's hope for that? You know,
Uh,
you
I-
think there's a big change in the wind or anything? Because we're still fighting like tigers all over the place, like we always have.
yeah.
You know,
It's either fighting about land, or it's either fighting about oil, or it's actually it's all about power.
it's power
Yeah.
and
And
money. Money.
Right,
All
power
about
and money.
Now here we're in public access where you can come and produce and everything like that without thinking about money.
Yeah, well,
That's interesting.
that's
isn't
right.
it not?
Well,
Yeah.
now I have another clip. If you
Well,
want to see
yeah, they
another,
might have to set that up.
you
Maybe
got to
we
set
could.
that. Well, Melanie has to set that
Yeah,
up.
yeah, Melanie.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
she
yeah,
can
yeah,
set that
and
up.
yeah, and
you can let us know if you can get that set up, Melanie.
Yeah.
Okay, please.
And you got to make sure the sound is up, Melanie, and
Yeah.
everything else, so everybody
so
can
we
see.
can get to that.
And
But
then-
but that's if you just say to people, that would be probably the major thing that motivates all of human activity on this planet is money.
It's money, right?
Don't you think?
Yeah, well,
And that
money,
seems
money
to
and power.
Can you ever get to a point where money and that kind of thing is not something that is relevant to human consciousness, and they could be interested in things like peace and love and the things that really matter, if you know what I mean?
Harold.
Okay.
Harold, only if they get to be our age.
Oh no.
When they get to be our age,
Hmm.
the money really doesn't really matter as long as we can pay our bills, pay our rent, pay everything, and just coast along and just stay
Suppose
alive.
we had a world where everybody could pay the rent and the bills and everything like that, and no thought about having to be thrown out and that kind of stuff.
It'd
or
be-
thrown
it'd be
in
a
prison.
wonderful-
What about, is it possible we could achieve that in a way that we never have been able to do until this very time in the evolution of events?
Harold, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. But that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That'd really be wonderful. We're because at my age,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be retired, but I'm still working. And I only think about what am I going to do? I've got to do something. I've got to keep myself busy.
Well, you do. You're busy as a bee in May.
Yeah. If I don't keep myself busy,
Yeah.
I'm going to go stir crazy.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, I've got my bills paid. I've got everything paid. I don't owe anybody a dime, not a nickel. My
Okay.
credit is absolutely wonderful. I don't use any credit or anything like that. But I've got to keep myself occupied, and I must have something to do.
Well, it may be rather than being concerned. Now, you've been in the realm of very creative people. Joe Franklin. And all the people you've been involved with musicians and singers.
I used to
show
work-
business. It's a very romantic thing.
Yeah.
In the terms of most people who think accountant or something that's safe and sure, and you're going to be able to make your steady money.
When I used to work,
You've
was
lived
fun.
a life of a cavalier life.
Well-
In terms of some of the real values that count, the creative values, rather than the values of just piling up money,
Harold.
which motivates most people
Yeah.
as called responsibility.
Harold.
You've been irresponsible.
I've been
Having a
irresponsible.
good time.
But could you see me, Harold, running around with a rabbi hat, with these curls,
Well,
these
I didn't
payas,
think you had
and
to go
everything
to-
else, and working in a strip joint,
Well-
Harold?
probably wouldn't work. That's the trouble.
Oh,
the
I
guy,
used to love it. I
yeah.
used to love working in a strip joint.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact,
no, it's the hat I'm talking about.
Oh, the hat.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I have the hat.
With the
and I have another song, and I made it into like a Zorro, a cowboy hat.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but it's the beaver hat. Yeah. But I still have the beard,
yeah.
and I still have the payas. They call
yeah.
the curls.
Payas, yeah.
And
yeah.
I still have the rabbi outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't fit my image.
Do you still feel akin to the Torah and things like that, or not?
No,
or are you getting to be sort of drawn away from? You're more of a secular.
Okay, Harold.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and the reason that I don't really feel too much of a kin is because my father used to beat me bloody every day for not going to the synagogue.
No,
yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, bloody. And when I used to go to the Hebrew Theological College,
yeah.
And I used to study the laws.
What age were you doing that?
I would say from about 5 years old until about
the Hebrew thing.
5 years old until I would say about 12. Just before I was bar mitzvah.
Bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Right.
He used to beat me bloody every day. He used to have a luxion strap on the back of the door.
No.
And I used to come home, and he used to say to my mother, was he a good kid or a bad kid? And my mother was so frightened, she would shake and everything else, and so on and so forth. She'd run in the other room, and we'd have a big wooden table. And I used to run around the table. He used to chase me around the table, and I used to run into the bathroom. And when I was stupid, he used to say, open up the door, or I'm going to break the door down. And so, you know, when it first started, I did, and then he beat the hell out of me. And then after a while, I kept my foot
out the window.
I kept my foot against the door. I put the lock, and then he'd say, open up this door, or I'm going to break it down. He says, go ahead.
Yeah.
Break the door down. I don't give a damn.
What happened when you got bigger than him?
When I got bigger than him, what I did is he tried to beat me one day, and I grabbed him, and I shoved him against the wall, and I said, if you lay another hand on me, I says, I'm going to beat the hell out of you.
Now, is there a metaphor in there anywhere about the human condition or anything like that, that people will take violence to have them, let's say if you say it's not the Torah, but it's some political belief, you're a communist,
yeah,
and you believe in Stalin or something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
That kind of thing, that people will take violence, and violence is image quest.
Yeah.
If people are comfortable in their own skin, as a term,
yeah,
or in their image, or what they're doing, or something, then they're not likely to be violent. Violence happens at the interface, right?
Yeah.
So violent like that, is that a metaphor for much of the thing that disturbs the peace in the world? Is the conflicting ideas of absolute certainty, reality that conflicts with another? Okay,
Harold, all I can tell you is that if it happened today, he would have been put in jail. You know,
okay, well then that's a societal problem.
Yeah, it's a society problem.
That wouldn't have been allowed.
He would have been put in jail, and I would have been taken away from this ridiculous family that I got myself involved with.
Yeah,
floating around the ceiling.
That's really frightening.
Yeah, it's very frightening. Yeah.
It
was the wrong family, and the only reason that he did it was because I think he was very unhappy with my mother.
Okay, well.
My mother did not give him the love and the attention that he should have had.
Blame it on mother?
Well, no, not blaming it on mother, but on the second thought, he didn't give her the love and attention that she should have been having too. All right? And he was probably frustrated with his entire life.
Do you think if you had led a more normal, like that, I've never in my life been in what they call a fight.
Yeah.
Or I've never had violence delivered down on me.
Yeah, yeah.
I had nothing but warmth and encouragement and everything for both father and mother and sisters. I never had any of that trauma. Now, do you think that if that sounds kind of boring?
No, but that's why you're so wonderful.
Well, no,
that's why you're so wonderful.
But you had all that trauma, and you're so wonderful.
No, you're so wonderful.
No, you're so wonderful.
You're so
wonderful. You're more
wonderful
than I am.
No, I'm
you're
not.
More wonderful than I am. No, I've never been in a fight in my life or anything. I don't like it. You know, I use humor. You're very funny. You know that?
Yeah.
Did everybody ever tell you you're funny, Darrow?
Listen, I worked in burlesque. I worked in vaudeville. I used to do 16 shows a night working for Jack Ruby many years ago.
Really? Jack Ruby of Dallas?
Jack Ruby. He was the guy that killed Oswald. I was working with him in 4 joints.
You haven't exactly had a suburban, comfortable, white bread life.
Well,
I mean, admit it.
I had a very interesting life, Harold. and I'm very happy that I never became a rabbi.
Then there would be some real violence.
Yeah, no, but it was wonderful because I enjoyed looking. You know, when I used to work in the strip joints, I used to enjoy looking at all these.
Work in the strip joint? You usher people to the chairs, or what?
No, I used to host.
Strip?
I used to MC.
Oh, you used to MC.
Yeah, I was always in front of the camera.
It was all lady strippers.
Yeah, I said, and now here she is, the fabulous, beautiful, gorgeous, blah 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 blah.
Sell it, pal.
And she would come out and she would bang her breasts around and twinkle her little hips and everything else. And then I would get the next one. And then after that,
George M. Cohan.
Yeah. Then that was a place called the Top Hat Club in Danville, Illinois.
Oh, is that where you did it?
Yeah. Then I would go to another nightclub and the Adobe, and I would sing with Red Norvo and his 7-piece band out there. We do headshots.
Yeah.
Then I would run down the road and do a show with Jerry Van Dyke.
Jerry Van Dyke.
That's Dick Van Dyke's brother.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And Jerry, because he used to have a series called My Mother the Car on television.
Okay. Okay.
I used to work with him every weekend when I was in Chicago, and then I would go upstairs and I would do
clubs, right?
Comedy
clubs,
and
nightclubs.
Well, I would be working
joints,
4 rooms. One night, 4 times a night. I do 16 shows a night.
Wow!
I go upstairs and do.
How could you do 16? How you had to run?
I had to run. Then I
kept you shape. That's why you're in such good shape.
Then,
all that
when
running
I was a
around
kid,
strip joints.
then what happened was I used to pick up all the money, and I used to give it to my agent out there, and he used to count. He used to give me my
what
money.
How'd the money come to you?
Well, I used to
you
collect
got tips? Was that money stuck in
that was money
garters?
from the 4 places. Then they could go to Jack Ruby.
Oh wow, that's where it went.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you got to write your life up. You know.
Yeah.
You've had such a dull life. I mean, it's so dull and boring.
You
and
think so?
bourgeois.
You think so? You know,
eating white bread out there in the suburbs of Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, Harold.
We're listening to the cows.
Yeah, the cows and everything. Well,
you're a New York City story. You know that? You're a New York City Broadway Danny type guy.
A Broadway Danny.
Yeah,
all right.
right,
Well, whatever.
Now, right?
Yeah,
right?
whatever.
Face it.
Right.
That's your karma, right? Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Congratulations.
You're going to get everything that's coming to you.
I'm afraid of that, Harold.
No, you're not supposed to react that way. You're supposed to, no. You say, I'll do it again. Second take, right?
Harold.
Cameraman, second take. You're going to get everything that's coming to you, Danny.
Oh, my God, Harold. Harold, well, if it's coming from you,
it'll
be wonderful.
Take it right. Listen, Stanislavski, get into the role. Think like that.
Get in the role.
What it is you do it to me.
Okay.
You do the line to me.
Okay, all right. Harold, you're going to get everything coming to you.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! I'm so looking forward to getting my just desserts.
Everything coming to you.
You didn't do that.
No.
It never occurred to you to do that.
I know, I never did.
I said you're going to get everything that's
Harold,
coming.
because you're so wonderful, that's why.
Well, I just wanted to make that point and everything like that, you know, and everything. But that's interesting. And he's now here at MNN and singing the praises. And I wonder, maybe we got that clip about
that
MNN.
clip. Well, if Melanie,
you've got a PSA, a 30-second PSA about public access.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day, and I said, "Boy, that's great," because you've gotten into the spirit of MNN.
Well, listen.
Now, the spirit of MNN is a very, very creative possibility there that probably should be realized by more people, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Can you sell MNN to the public?
Listen.
Can you try?
Listen.
Can you do something like a PSA?
Should know about MNN
and public access.
And public access, because this is the way, if you want to get a new career, and if you think the job is for you, MNN will train you for free. MNN will do everything they can for free and make you a producer director. And then what the payback is that you have to produce shows for MNN. You give it to them, they air it. There's approximately 620,000 viewing people out there that watch these channels.
That's just in Manhattan.
Yeah, Time Warner Cable, RCM, and FiOS. Okay, RCN. The tongue slipped. Harold, the tongue slipped. Okay. So you got the 3 channels, and you can write, you can produce, you can direct your own shows, but you always must have a job.
Yeah, but you must have income.
You must have income.
Now imagine a world where everybody just has income.
Well, they have to have
How
income.
would the world be organized if it didn't have that money thing to me? We said money is that's probably 99% of human activity is motivated by money.
But they couldn't pay their bills if they
No,
didn't
no,
have
no,
it.
no, no.
Harold,
I didn't say that.
Yes.
I posited.
Yes.
Suppose everybody had money,
suppose everybody
and they
had
didn't
money?
have to go to do anything to get it. Let's just
Really?
suppose. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, find
and
me
that
a,
whole thing.
Harold,
is
find me a job like that. I want a
not
job
a
like
job.
that.
It's not a job. You just got money, and then you can do what you want. You can do. You can be free to do what you want.
Harold, I wasn't
That's
born
called
rich.
liberation.
I wasn't born rich. I earned everything that I have.
Do you think maybe the people of the world are going to have to be seen and actualized in terms of our political decision making and structuring of institutions, seen that they are going to be born rich and their progeny will be seen as rich? Henceforth, after 200,000 years of our here being in a condition of scarcity where everybody's fighting, there's going to be a condition where everybody's going to have enough that we may have transcended material scarcity, and that we have a capability of taking care of everybody that is a capability, and all the ecology in a way that we've never had, that this is a moment of qualitative transformation in evolutionary terms?
Harold.
Could you put that into a comedy riff?
Harold, I don't want to put it into a comedy riff. I'd like to put it into a blessing. Because if that is the case...
That'd be called liberation, the end time, Jubilee time.
Would there be any wars?
No, I don't think so.
Would there be any fighting?
I don't think so.
Would there be any jealousy?
I don't think so.
No,
There might be. Well, there might be. Maybe it's deeply ensconced in the human soul that they're going to fight and kill and fight over and they want the best lady or whatever.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
all right. Well,
as
as far as love and sex and everything else, maybe there'll be a little camaraderie there.
Yeah.
All right. But people will be happier.
Yeah.
I mean, people won't have any
And the
worries.
reasons for violence will be reduced.
Of course.
But you got to remember something else, though. If you're going to be serious, like a president, think like president.
The president?
Not like a
No. If I thought like
think like the president of the United States, not a huckster to a strip joint.
Harold.
Okay, think like that. I know it's hard. Think like that. You got to have a thing. You got to have a thing, a way in which you're going to form capital and get buying power to the people. You got to think about how is that going to be? What needs to be done?
Harold, if I
policy,
darling, listen to me. If I would think about the present administration, all right, okay, all right, where before what's his name became a president, he was earning very, very little, and all of a sudden he got $17 million. Now he's running around, campaigning, trying to get as much money as he can.
Right now, you are President Obama, you mean?
Yeah, President Obama.
Right, yeah.
What's happening with the people that he's supposed to be caring for? He's not caring for anybody but himself. So I don't want to think like that.
No,
I'm not thinking like that at all, Harold.
Did you ever respect any political leader ever? Was there anybody you respect? Franklin Roosevelt in memory?
Well, Franklin Roosevelt, yeah, well,
Jimmy
sure.
Carter never started a war?
Well, I don't know. But I used to like peanuts. I used to eat peanuts all the time.
Peanuts, okay.
Yeah,
right,
I used to love that. Yeah.
Peanut,
yeah, that was very good. Kennedy, I always liked.
Kennedy,
Kennedy.
He had some class.
Yeah, he really had
there was
some.
a lot going on then.
A lot going on there.
This guy Ruby down in Texas that was headed last.
Well, that's I was on a subway.
You were involved in there.
I wasn't involved in that.
No, but you were sending money to him.
No.
You had to send money to him. I thought you had to send all the money from the strip joint to
I used to work
Ruby.
for him in the nightclubs that the group owned.
You
see?
Oh, you were a little bit distant.
And the thing is, they would hire me. I would be the host. I would be the singer. I would be the MC. I would be the entertainer.
You weren't a gopher.
For the four. Well, wait a minute. For the 4 nightclubs I used to work in Danville, Illinois, and then of course I used to always bring back the money to get my share, and I never took out a nickel. I was the most honest guy you could ever believe. And and then
And look where it got you.
The agent. Yeah, look where it got me. I'm on the Harold Channel show. I'm on the Harold Channel show. That's where it got me, Harold.
Anyway, that's all reminiscing or ruminating and all that. But listen, Melanie, if you're in the booth, maybe you could just go ahead and interject into this.
That Eminem, that 30-second piece or something. Melody.
If you could get it, if you can, and if you would just sort of have to talk, look for it. If it comes up, we'll talk. Anyway, that you really sell it.
Hi,
You know,
I'm
there
Danny
we go.
Darrow.
No.
Here we go.
I'm
Put
a
up a sound
producer,
melody.
director, and writer of my own TV show, The Danny Darrow Show. If you would like to have a new career and be a producer and director over at Manhattan Neighborhood Network TV station, please call the number on your screen, and you too can look forward to a new career. It's all free.
Oh, bravo, bravo! It's all free.
It's all free, Harold. It's
the only thing I object to in that, maybe you sold the line well. You really did it well.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You've been studying. You've been at the Actors Studio. And,
No, I've never been to the Actors Studio, but I did well, first of all, you know, I've been in the business since the early '50s, Harold.
Right, yeah.
And I used to be on MGM Radio. I used to be on NBC every day.
Were you in radio?
Yeah.
In what capacity?
Well,
singing, talking?
No. I used to be a host with a fella in Chicago named Bill Anson.
Okay.
And we were on MGM every night.
Talk show?
Yeah, talk show.
Yeah.
But the radio was all radio.
You know, I just figured out that this fellow, you know, Joe Franklin.
Yeah.
He originated. If I already said it, forgive me. He originated the idea of talk show. Did I say that earlier on this program?
No, you did not.
He was the originator of the idea of talk show coming up in television.
Okay.
We're all in his way.
Say it one more time, Harold.
Well, he was the originator in television.
Yeah.
All of television. It was just coming into the world. It's a new thing. And how are they going to deal with it? You know, it costs, you couldn't have a major motion picture budget to have big Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
You know, how are we going to do it? And he invented himself the talk show. The television talk show, which is now everywhere.
That's wonderful.
A wonder. He's a leader. I think he ought to be recognized as
Yeah.
a major cultural leader and also a very fine citizen of the city of New York.
Yeah, and
Don't you agree?
And yes, and I was with him in the 1950s.
Yes, you were there with him. You and he were friends for way back then.
Well, Joe was on the dais.
Yeah,
I
he was
used to
famous. He was
I was
famous.
sitting right next to him. And either I would be there, or I would be on the couch. I would be interviewing some of the guests out there and everything else. And
you helped him put it together. I mean,
well,
the camera
no. No, Joe did everything himself.
Yeah.
I was just.
Yeah, he did. He's a take charge guy.
Yeah. I was just like I am with my shows. I'm like a flunky.
That good.
Yeah,
You're
flunky,
not
a flunky.
You're no flunky. You're no flunky, Darrow. I know you pretty well, brother. You're no flunky. You don't know the meaning of the word.
A flunky. Yeah. No,
Okay,
all
now
right.
you sold the line.
Okay,
Good.
all right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the days, I remember those days in the 50s, I used to go to a place called Grant's on 42nd Street in New York. And for dinner, I used to have a sardine sandwich for 12 cents. 12 cents on whole wheat bread, sardines, and then a drink for a nickel. It was 17 cents. That's how I got my dinners, for 17 cents.
Wow.
That was in the 50s.
Yeah, I know. That was when the nickel really was a nickel. Now it's that it's thrown away in the trash.
$1. Well, that's what Obama said. He said this is going to be change. For every dollar you have, I'm turning it into a nickel.
Yeah, but we're talking about that big change and everything. I would say I don't know who else you'd support in political terms in Obama. But I mean, I think he's doing all right. I mean,
well, for himself, he's doing fabulous.
Not for himself. I mean in the larger thing. We said that dream about how we may be at a time of qualitative change. That's the thing that's really worth being concerned about. Not about who's right or wrong, or this bill or that bill or something, but the context. We need more people who are thinking about the whole thing and seeing a qualitative change. And at that level, you got all these institutions. Realize.
Well, sure.
We said the thing. What if everybody had what they needed or wanted? I think that's going to have to become a reality. It's contingent. It is absolutely necessary for us collectively to get to a point where people will have everything that they need or reasonably want without having to do anything for it.
So
now we're going to have to get to that. The algorithmic thing is developing. We can't hardly incorporate it. All of our institutions, all of our architecture, our thinking, our thought patterns, our political, our dialectic, our intellectual, everything is done in a context that's being qualitatively transformed.
Yeah.
If we're doing that, then you're going to have to do something about the established institutions that have to be subsumed or dealt with in some way. Buses come, things get done, it still works. You got the same old order and everything, but there's got to be something that is going to be able to realize you're going to have to tap into the future, which is emerging in qualitatively new terms. And we have to have a leadership to that. And I think that he probably is doing that better than anybody that could possibly do it now, because we have so many outdated ideas like my team is right, your team is wrong, all of this kind of bullshit that's going on.
Harold, he never passed the bill. you know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think he did anything except raise money for himself. This is what.
Well, I think you're wrong in that. I think,
I may be wrong.
Yeah,
yes.
and he's going along. He's going along in the idea. You got two things: you can distribute it according to ownership, or you can distribute it according to state. And yeah, Frank. Did you like Franklin Roosevelt?
Yeah,
Franklin
I
Roosevelt. He was hated when he did Social Security.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and everybody thought that and everything. And
Harold, I must ask you a question.
Yeah, you can ask me any question.
Okay.
Ask me the
Harold,
question.
if you were the president
Yeah.
of these United States, what would you do for the people?
I would hire Danny Darrow as court jester. First thing, get Danny Darrow as court jester if I had the law.
No,
like
but the only
no, I think it's a matter of the intellectual community's falling down on the job. They're being co-opted because nobody's thinking that way.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking. We had a few comprehensive thinkers.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuller, a few people who are really thinking. Kurzweil, some of the cyberneticists, they're thinking about the whole system and visualizing it. Isaac Asimov, the famous guy who wrote all the laws of robotics, he said this is the defining generation, not historically, like the New Deal or some tax thing or something like we have all the news. It is a qualitative, and it's the intellectual community thinking about everything that has to come to that, and they don't. You don't hear anything but reified stances within the old paradigm that is out of date, and we have to touch into the future, which is liberating in its potentiality. Yeah, you're helping to do that with your humor.
Okay,
and so
I'm going to ask you another question, Harold.
You can ask me anything you want.
Okay, now, do you think
yes, I do, all the time.
That
with my dog.
Okay, with your dog.
Yeah.
I love animals.
He's really funny. You met him.
Yeah, I met him. Yeah,
he's funnier than Chaplin.
Well, you're an animal and I'm an animal, so we're all together.
But that dog is funnier than Chaplin.
All right, now, do you think, since people are going out of business, people are scrounging for money today and everything else, do you think if the oil prices were lowered, because it's $4.50 a gallon of gas over here and everything else.
I remember when it was a quarter a gallon.
That I remember when it was 15 cents a gallon. And you're older than I am.
We can argue with that.
Okay, we're gonna okay, all right.
You got a better memory than me.
Okay. Do you think that if the oil prices went back, not to $28 a gallon like they did, maybe to $50 a gallon, do you feel that the economy would improve and people would be happier? And
if they went to $50 a gallon?
Instead of $102.
What's $102 for a gallon? I don't understand.
No, the oil.
The oil.
The oil.
Oh, the barrel of oil.
The barrel of the barrel. I'm
sorry,
it's
oil, not a gallon.
All right,
no,
the
There's
barrel.
a big difference. You have to do fracking.
Okay. Instead of $102,
they have to refine it and everything.
It goes back to $50. People can move freely. Do you feel that the economy would get better and better, and would it maybe come back to a lot where it was before, where people's lives will change?
I don't think there's much chance going back to where it was. I think what we have to do is go forward to new energy systems that are going to be. They got energy systems that are. They got building materials 1,000 times the price of the weight of steel and weigh nothing.
Yeah,
they got all kinds of things that are emerging, new energy systems. They got all kinds of. You need to have a new way of forming capital.
Yeah.
And distributing not only through governmental things like food stamps and that has to be continued in a bridge type way. Yeah. Then you got to have a way in which the private sector is not overthrown. Mm-hmm. The private sector has got a vital place. There's two of them. And then you got to have a way of forming capital, making an investment that'll pay for out of its future earnings. The way the rich get rich is by having that collateralization. That has to be spread to everybody as a way of distributing demand, so that the cybernetic, robotic world of production of abundance can be realized, and the people who have the ability, the money from ownership or from government, in order to buy what can be produced, because it's all being not able to be realized because they can't have the buying power.
Okay.
We're out of time.
We're out of time?
We're out of time.
No, continue.
Say goodbye. 2 minutes. We only got 2 seconds.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Take care. Be well.
Danny Darrow.
Harold, we love Harold Channer.
MNN. Okay. Thank you. We're coming back tomorrow.